Well, we have not done this in a very long time, but it's actually time to call out Spectrum News New York 1. Oh, excuse me, Channel 1. Because we have a couple of stories that yet again are getting ignored here in Queens by this TV station. And you know how we normally start off by criticizing them, so let's just take a look if anything on the Queens page to confirm if, again, we're getting ignored by them as usual. Oh yeah, they'll cover Holly, the Festival of Colors, but yeah, I mean, LaGuardia wins Forbes Travel Guide for Best Airport. Like, look, I'm happy the airport got renovated, but there's more pressing issues going on here in Queens. Okay, so what? They talk about the Queens Bus redesign last month. They talk about, that and that. But again, the other stations somewhat seem to do a decent job. Because Channel 7 did a good job covering the top story we're going to get into. But you know how we always lead these videos off. Come on, it's obvious. Let's start it off. Let's get into it. That's right. Time to call out Pitt Kiernan. Oh boy, I mean that's not even going to be our thumbnail today. We're gonna use something else to describe our top story today. I don't know, but I want to show you something very interesting. All right, so look at this. Look at last week for an example. You see who is holding the newspaper last week? That's Jamie Stelter. You're lucky that I watch New York 1, so you don't have to. But, this is what we deal with here in the city. And especially how, again, we get put down here in Queens by the station time and time again. And this is why I have to call them out. This is why I have to do it. So, let's see how snazzy Pitt Kiernan was today. This is going to be fun now, is it? Let's watch. Watch the first newspaper he leads off with today.
What's in the Monday papers? Pope Francis on the front page of the Times this morning. The picture of the Pope waving to those who have gathered outside the hospital in Rome.
Who cares?
He was there for 5 weeks.
I'm sorry. I mean, I know he was hospitalized
really
for a month.
The big law.
Oh my God! They're talking about Trump. They're talking about Trump
This morning, the Post almost expressing
trade war.
Democrats that can energize the base.
Talking about AOC.
Executive editor at the Times.
Oh, and it gets much worse than that. It gets much worse than
They
that.
were apparently ready to make an announcement about this at some point in the past on the project. It could. The guest column here.
Oh my God!
Nonprofit behind Sesame.
Who cares?
That are out there like Bluey. It's the imprisonment of
How does this impact my life in
Turkey's
Queens?
president. Police came out using
How does this
pepper
impact
spray
my life? I
on
mean,
the
really.
front page of the- When it comes to that subject,
All right, I don't even want to get into that. But at least the good news is the top story this morning was this. Let's reload this for a second. So the good news is I'm glad for once Ydanis Rodriguez is doing the right thing. So we'll just quickly read this one here. It looks like the good news is beginning in June, there's going to be a crackdown on overweight trucks that will reduce wear and tear on the aging elevated roadway of the BQE. So finally, for once, Ydanis Rodriguez is doing the right thing. I know I've criticized him for a lot, but looks like beginning July 22nd, if an overweight truck starts to go into the Staten Island bound lanes, guess what? You're gonna get fined. So I'm glad that this is being enforced. So wait a minute. Oh my God! How could they? Who wrote this? Jillian Jorgensen. Really? You need to do better proofwriting. To be fair, Scripps News does the same thing on occasion too with the Queen's Courier, but this is a very big deal. I mean, look at this. So they're enforcing it on the Queens-bound lanes, which is important. But now they're finally going to start enforcing it on the Staten Island-bound lane. So that's important that impacts us in Queens. Because if we need to go into Brooklyn, for most of us who watched this video, I mean, I haven't been to Brooklyn in a while, but some of my viewers go into Brooklyn. They have to. And, think about it. Oh, boy. I really hope that in the state budget they can, make sure that this is enforced, because this is a very old roadway. I mean, God forbid it collapses. You don't want to have another situation like I-95 where I-95 in Philadelphia collapses and, that happens. So, let's get into this. This has been covered by the other stations. Channel 7 actually did a good job covering it. They actually spent 2 minutes covering this yesterday. So, the Queen's Courier does have it on their top story today. So, let's read this. So, this was very disturbing. And in fact, 1010 Wins even was talking about it this morning. So, a woman's body was found near Fort Totten Park yesterday. And what makes this disturbing is this is the second time in a week where somebody from Whitestone was found suspiciously dead. Yeah, I mean, talk about how crazy this is. And we'll read that story in a little bit, because I don't even think New York One covered that one too. Yeah, so we'll get into that later on as well in this video. So here's what we know. So there was a 911 call. Somebody called in yesterday morning. Apparently, the 109 precinct responded to a local fisherman who spotted an unconscious body floating in Little Bay along the East River at 11:15 a.m. yesterday morning, Sunday, March 23rd. An NYPD harbor unit was brought the body to shore near the Cross Island Parkway in Totten Road. EMS pronounced the victim dead at the scene. On Monday, an NYPD spokeswoman said the body was identified as Sharon Show, age 51, of 17th Road, just off Francis Lewis Boulevard in Whitestone, just over a mile away from Fort Totten. The office of the chief medical examiner will determine the cause of death. A white Mercedes-Benz was in a nearby parking lot with blood on the driver's side and towed from the scene by NYPD. Here we go. Here's more. So it looks like detectives from the 109 precinct will continue to investigate whether the Whitestone woman was the victim of a crime connected to the vehicle. Yeah, so very, very suspicious. I mean, I think this was murder. It has to be murder. I mean, come on. We all listen to those crime stories or listen to those podcasts. We have a guilty pleasure of it, don't we? Some of us do. I mean, I don't, but I can add the pieces of the puzzle. I mean, I've played L.A. Noire for Andy Plays before, so yeah, very suspicious. Because that's not the only person found dead in Whitestone. Oh no, there was another person that was found dead last week. So let's read this one. Detectives are investigating the death of a mechanic found with lacerations to his body inside his Whitestone business back on St. Patrick's Day. According to police sources, the 65-year-old male victim was discovered unconscious and unresponsive around 3:07 p.m. on Monday, March 17th, inside Mikinico Auto Works, located at 148-20 Cross Island Parkway. Oh, by the way, Channel 1 ignored this one too. Police sources said the man's brother arrived at the location to check up on him, whether he made the grim discovery. Officers from the 109 precinct responded to the scene. Authorities said the man was found lying on the ground, surrounded by auto tools with lacerations to his elbow and neck. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released his identity pending family notification. The man's body was transferred to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Sources familiar with the investigation report that it is too early at this point whether foul play occurred. Investigation remains ongoing. Okay, so there you have it. Oh, this is an old one from February. I'm not going to read it. So, I have 3 more stories we're going to read today, and then that's it, because my patience has just run thin and thin again with Spectrum. Oh, excuse me, Charter. And, I'm just randomly going to say it. Do I want the Warner Brothers back? I don't know, because they've been making some very questionable decisions with the Max streaming service, but that's something I don't want to talk about right now. But I don't know what would happen if the Warner Brothers was still owning everything here, but maybe Pat Kiernan would act less snobby. Anyhow, another story ignored. Richmond Hill cell phone store. Maxed men rob it at knife point and lock a employee inside a restroom. Looks like this is a Verizon store. So this happened on Wednesday, March 19th. Police from the 102nd Precinct in Richmond Hill are looking for two men who robbed a cell phone store at knife point. The suspect walked into the corner store at 112-02 Jamaica Avenue just before 8 p.m. and pulled a knife on a 22-year-old store employee and demanded he give him the property before locking the victim in a bathroom, police said Sunday. The perpetrators removed electronics and cash totaling around $3,050 before exiting the shop on Jamaica Avenue. The police said the employee was not injured during the heist, so that's good news at least. So at least we have surveillance video for you. All right, you know the deal. See something, say something. All right, I'll give you a suspect description. One suspect wore a black hooded sweatshirt with white lettering on the chest and arms, black sweatpants, a gray face mask, a gray backpack, and gray sneakers. His accomplice wore a red hood and black hoodie, black sweatpants, black and white sneakers, and a white face mask. So there you go. There you go. I mean, maybe I understand why my neighbors in Nassau County are cracking down on people wearing face masks. Again, you don't identify yourself in front of a police officer. Guess what? You're going to get ticketed. Or you're going to face the consequences. So, that's one thing I will agree with Bruce Blakeman on. You know, we really should be doing that in the city. Because Adams was all talk about that. But, you know, that's how the criminals get away. This is one of the lingering effects of COVID. So, anyhow, I want to get to the next one here. We have two more we're going to read today. I didn't read a couple of these yesterday because I was just disgusted with everything else that was going on because the 7 train was getting ignored. But anyhow, let's get into the purse snatcher going around Richmond Hill and Jamaica. So here we go. Police from the 106 Precinct in South Ozone Park are looking for a purse snatcher who targeted a 53-year-old woman who had just finished shopping at a Seatown supermarket at 134-16 Liberty Avenue in South Richmond Hill during the afternoon of March 15th. The victim was loading groceries into her vehicle in the parking lot when the perpetrator approached her from behind and allegedly grabbed her handbag, which contained cash and credit cards, before running down Liberty Avenue. The victim was not injured during the encounter, an NYPD spokesman said Thursday. He could not say how much cash was in the victim's bag. The same suspect struck again 2 days later, just before 8:30 a.m. on Monday, March 17th. A 57-year-old woman was in front of Cottage Home Care Services at 126-01 Liberty Avenue in South Richmond Hill. The stranger snatched her purse containing credit cards and ran down Liberty Avenue, police said. The woman refused medical attention at the crime scene and discovered later that an unauthorized transaction was made on one of her stolen credit cards. The same day, purse snatcher just struck east of the Van Wyck Expressway in front of the 103rd Precinct in Jamaica. Looks like in this incident, a 71-year-old woman was in front of a home at 102-15 Remington Street just before 2 p.m. The man approached her and shoved her to the sidewalk. He forcibly removed her purse, which contained credit cards, a cell phone, and identified amount of cash. The victim refused medical attention at the scene. Oh, look at this. We have surveillance video. Crime Stoppers has released images of a suspect inside a bodega, wearing a black face covering, a black hooded jacket over a baseball cap, and black pants. So look at that. He walked into a bodega. Ah, man. That's just too much. That's just too much. Ah. But look, he had a face mask on. Crime Stoppers is offering up to a $3,500 reward for offering information that will lead to an arrest. So, yeah, I don't know if he'll get caught. I mean, that's very... You know, it's like playing the lottery or trying to get a perfect March Madness bracket. You're not going to get both if you catch this guy, so... Alright, last one. Man wanted in sexual abuse case involving a 12-year-old girl inside an Elmhurst supermarket. Let's see when this happened. So this happened... Just trying to get you a date. Okay, March 13th. Yeah, he's Asian. See that? Definitely looks Asian. So here we go. Police from the 110 precinct reported that a 12-year-old girl was inside a supermarket at 82-66 Broadway, across the street from the Moore Homestead Playground. Oh, wait a minute. This happened right by the hospital. Oh, boy. A stranger approached her, touched the victim's buttocks, and then exited the location on foot in an unknown direction. Sources from the 110 confirmed that the girl was not injured during the encounter. So again, let's give you a suspect description. So again, this is the Asian suspect in question, because again, they're not going to say his ethnicity, but he is Asian. So let's see what he is. So, he is slim-build Asian, approximately 25 to 35 years old, black hair, wore a black coat over a gray hooded sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and black shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call the Crime Stoppers unit, but I will give the phone number to the 110 precinct because, they're the ones handling this. See something, say something. The phone number for the 110 precinct is 718-476-9311. Figured I might as well since, again, this is... Listen, if you call Crime Stoppers, they're not really going to do anything. The precinct has detectives. They know what they're doing. Just call the 110 if you see this guy. Alrighty. I actually found two more important stories we're going to read from the Queen's Chronicle. So it looks like we have an update regarding a fatal Long Island Railroad incident that occurred at the Rosedale station back on March 13th. So it says here that a train struck 77-year-old Edward Betcher, 77, of 224th Street. So this was a suicide. I had a feeling that might have been the case. Unfortunately, I don't know if the Trump tariffs are making an impact on people, but it could. I'm not speculating, but we got to really be careful on that. So let me just give you a better view of the article. There you go. Also, don't forget, he might have been a government employee, so we can't speculate that either, because maybe Elon. But I'm just saying, anything's possible. Anything is possible. So very, very unfortunate. The media ignored this one too, but again, nobody cares about us in Queens, so we just get put off. Just like how this should have gotten attention too. The City Field Casino. Yes, this is a very big deal. The media should be focusing on this one. So, thank you, Vicky Palladino, and thank you, Joanna Arrolia. Oh my goodness, this is why I like these two. So at least Queen's GOP is looking out for us, I think. I really think, despite other issues that are small and petite, Vicky and Joanne really care for us here. And I'm really glad, because I don't want to see any environmental harm happen to Flushing Meadows Park. I really don't. Because when you threaten park space, you're going to have a problem with me, Steve Cohen. Let's read this. So, the City Council gave a lopsided approval to zoning changes that would allow a casino and more in the Citi Field parking lot. Only 2 legislators out of 43 dismissed. So why aren't I surprised Jim Gennaro sold us out again? Why aren't I surprised? Both for Republicans from Queens. Councilman Joanne Iolia, Republican from Ozone Park, who also is the chairwoman of the Queens GOP. So there's a district that includes Resorts World NYC, which also is applying for one of the 3 downstate casino licenses that are expected to be awarded by the New York State Gambling Commission sometime this year. Oh, and by the way, can we also talk about the fact that Times Square might still be in the question? Because, as I've said, I don't want a casino anywhere near Bryant Park. And then, let's talk about City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, who is the chairwoman of the Whitestone GOP. A Republican from Whitestone, she had told the Queen's Chronicle that the casino next door just isn't popular in the 19th District. Metropolitan Casino. As the planned casino, by owner Steve Cohen from the New York Mets, which this is a typo. I mean, this is a double standard here. Like, how come the Queens GOP is looking out for us here, right? But how come the folks in Nassau County get an unwanted casino by their county executive? To me, I don't know. I really don't know. Councilwoman Palladino said, "It is not what my constituents want. To be fair, Steve Cohen and his team have done a great job. I've seen the plans. I've seen the 360-degree model. But it is not what the people want." Yep, and again, Jim Gennaro sold us out. So, Jim Gennaro, you really are a piece of trash. You really are a piece of trash. You know, I guarantee you, if we didn't make the mistake of not... I'm telling you, I've said it time and time again. I know John Rinaldi did things outside of the box, but I'm telling you right now, it was a real mistake not putting John Rinaldi in. This is one of those reasons why. I guarantee you, because I had a close relationship with Jonathan, I guarantee you he would have voted no on this. I would have told him, you can't impact the environment around Flushing Meadow Park. And now Jim Gennaro sold us out again. He voted for the city of... Well, actually, no, he didn't vote for the city of Yes, but he sold us out on this. Oh, and I have another problem with you, Adrienne Adams, city council speaker. Yeah, she's from Queens, too. She's from Jamaica. I am beyond disgusted. I am beyond disgusted. And now she's running for mayor. I don't know, how in the world was she able to fundraise so quickly? It's so disgusting. Okay. Looks like Democrat Natasha Williams, who represents St. Albans, Tiffany Caban, Democrat from Astoria, who also represents Long Island City, abstained from this vote. Oh, boy. But again, what I don't get was Bob Holden. I have another problem now. Why in the world would Bob Holden vote yes on this? Can anybody explain to me why Bob Holden would vote yes? Isn't he supposed to be on the Common Sense Committee with Vicky Palladino and Joanne Iolia? I mean, really? Really? I'm telling you right now, if Curtis Sliwa becomes the mayor, he needs to sign an executive order stopping this. Trust me, I'm going to go to Mayor Sliwa if he comes in, and I'm going to tell him to stop this. He has to override the city council. The mayor should have every right to override this. So we got to make sure that Curtis Sliwa gets elected in November, because this is one of those reasons why. Oh, great. So Steve Cohen also wants to improve the 7 train station at Metz Willets Point. A hotel would be added, food hall, and infrastructure improvements. That's a very bad idea, because believe it or not, New York 1 showed the traffic cameras this morning. There was a lot of traffic heading towards LaGuardia Airport this morning. I don't think anybody else wants to sit in traffic near the airport. Okay, I'm done here. I'm done. Quickly, I want to mention, it's just a quick reminder, if you're not aware, Bell Boulevard will be holding the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up this Saturday, March 29th. Please expect delays and detours on the Q23 and the Q28 buses to run through the area. I just want to make sure. Yes, okay, just want to make sure. I think the Q31 might get detoured too. Pretty sure they might. So, yes, just want to make sure that you are all aware that there is a parade happening on Bell Boulevard on Saturday. And I want to mention, if you are coming from the Port Washington branch, you can take the train to Bayside on Saturday. So I would encourage anybody, if you're coming from Port Washington, Plain Dome, Manhasset, Great Neck, especially if you're coming from Little Neck or Douglaston, I would highly recommend to please use the Long Island Railroad, because Long Island Railroad's going to be your way to go to and from the parade if you can. If you're coming from Fresh Meadows, and I'll recommend this, you can access the parade from the Q31. Just get off at Northern Boulevard and Bell. If they're detouring you, just walk. That would be my recommendation. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on. I'm done here. Oh, boy. Oh, I want to read this one. What's going on here? Oh, this is a nightmare. Look at this one. The exit 27N ramp from the LIE to the Clearview Expressway is going to close nightly through April 4th. Are you kidding me? This is the westbound ramp. So they're going to detour everybody onto exit 27. That's just, my bad, exit 20... Is it exit 28? Yeah, I think it's exit 28, because that's the exit that leads to Francis Lewis Boulevard. Oh, that's just great. Beginning tomorrow, March 25th through Friday, April 4th, the exit 27N ramp from the westbound Long Island Expressway to the northbound Clearview Expressway will be fully closed each night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., weather permitting. The overnight closures are a part of the DOT pavement preservation project at various locations throughout the city. During the closure period, drivers seeking access to the Clearview Expressway are advised to take exit 27S and follow posted detour. No, you are actually not recommended to do that. Instead, what you can do, and like I said, please take exit 28. You're going to go straight down, and then there is a way to get to the Clearview Expressway Service Road. Take the Clearview Expressway Service Road, go past the traffic lights. You're going to go past a couple of them, take them straight up. Once you get past the Northern Boulevard one, you can get right back on the Clearview. Because why would you go out of your way, take exit 2 off that, and then come back that way? That actually wastes more gas, believe it or not. If you're doing it overnight, I don't know why they just don't tell people to use the Oceana Street exit. I mean, that's actually a lot easier to use. Because the Clearview Expressway has a service road. I mean, really. So there's going to be a lot of confusion the next couple of days. Right when I was about to wrap up this video and I see that, like, there you go. Again, this is the nightmare that we deal with in Queens. We get put off, and the usual antics of being Staten Island 2.0 just continue. I'm done. All right. I had a long day at work. You know, I had patience to do this video, but I think almost a half hour. I'm done. I'm just done. So thank you for watching. You know, we have to keep calling out the media when we can, and please, I know we sound like repeating records, but, you know, when I have to do it, and when Pine Power LI has to do it in Long Island, there's a good reason why we're doing this. So, that's pretty much it, and thank you for watching. Take care.